Hello. I'm going to talk about remembering the person, what it means, what it takes to be a leader or a manager in the age of AI. Remember the person's an age-old quote from the good old days of the internet, if there was anything, which is remembering the other person on the edge of the keyboard. It's a great tool for early internet discourse. It's gone really, really well over the past 10 years in how we talk to each other online. It has not. So me, I'm normally better dressed. I definitely normally wear a lot of tweed. I discovered my dog had decided that it wants to sleep in all of my tweed this morning. So I look like an angry lumberjack. I apologize. I'm Nik Walker, for reference, and the Senior Manager for Data Engineering, Architecture and Data Products at Arsenal Football Club. I've been doing data and tech for about 17-ish years. That number keeps going up and scares me. I do a lot of exec coaching and life coaching and all that kind of good stuff. I developed a human-centric leadership framework. People are awesome. And if you can see that teeny tiny writing, that says AI stole my framework. Most of Copilot has it. You may see there's an opinion towards AI from me with this. Talk an awful lot about mental health, neurodivergence. I've got ADHD, so I'm going to end up staring everywhere, and I'm probably going to end up tripping over one of these chairs. I apologize in advance. I can swear an awful lot. And I'm currently working for Arsenal. No, you cannot. Who's a West Ham fan? Who's a Spurs fan? Because ha 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 ha. There you go. Don't understand football. Please don't ask me stuff. Like, I do not understand. I am the nerd who just gets on with things. The office is a bit feral at the moment. Yes, I will answer that for you. The tension that's going on in rooms with, are we going to win stuff? Just sit here being ADHD and not really getting it. Why am I here? I think there's an issue in tech leadership, and AI is probably the problem at the moment. It's been quite nice listening to various bits and bobs, and I've got some various quotes from some folks. And this might just be a TLDR session for a lot of things, but I do believe there's an issue with this. Because people are great, right? Yes, the fucking silence you get from a room of techies with that question. People are awesome. Puzzles are brilliant. Puzzles are brilliant. People are the best kind of puzzles. And when we talk about digital transformation, AI transformation, we talk about technology and process, and people gets really, really quiet at the end. We don't talk about people anywhere near enough. We've spent Christ knows how long talking about tech and AI today. It's been cool, but we're the ones who make it go. I'm going to whinge a little bit about AI, so I apologize. What's the promise of AI? Who's using it? Who's genuinely using AI for something at the moment? Who's actually using it properly? Who's not just automating the boring shit? Who's doing something good with it? My ass. I asked Claude to tell me what the promise of AI is, and it got really, really Star Trek-y very, very quickly. Amplifying capabilities, faster data analysis, though when I tried to get it to do some weather stuff, it did break an awful lot. Better idea generation, it's a rubber duck. Who's not familiar with that phrase? Rubber duck. Stare at a rubber duck when you've got a problem, and you talk it through with a rubber duck, because people are pointless for that kind of thing, right? Automate and scale, we know it's going to do kick-ass stuff like that. It's going to make the world a better place. It's going to perform repetitive and dangerous tasks. Awesome. Personalization, better learning. Literally just heard about some of that. Healthcare and services, economic growth, that thing everyone whinges about an awful lot, and it's going to make everything really, really super duper productive, though if we haven't got jobs, I don't know how. And democratization of tools. It's going to make cognitive tools in there. Some of the really kick-ass research AI, especially in the psych world, is really cool to look at. Bit of Spock. Star Trek fans. Good, there's at least 4 of you. Splendid. Not lost the crowd. Everyone knows Star Trek. AI is actually massively regulated in Star Trek because people would lose the meaning. I just thought it was a funny little tidbit. And only one of those really talks about people. It's that automate and scale side of things. So getting rid of dangerous tasks, performing repetitive bullshit and boring stuff. But there's only one bit in there for that. And it only kind of sells that dream of here's the utopia. It really tells us how to get there. So I wanted to just assume that AI doesn't create Star Trek. And those productivity gains don't happen. Safer workspaces, more psychologically safe workspaces don't happen because of it. The analysis isn't faster. The healthcare still sucks. Hopefully your NHS is good. There's better economic output. There's plenty going on. For whatever reason that happens to be, I've frantically been trying to type this one better because I used the word hallucinate and I get shot for that now. But it gets too expensive. You're already seeing the price rises happen. You're already seeing these companies don't make money yet. and yet it's already getting a little bit dangerous for companies to start using it. AI isn't getting it right first time. I guarantee anyone who's worked in data has sat in a room where someone's gone, how does this data match up? Where does it come from? And if AI doesn't get that right the first time, you're never going to get any trust in it. It doesn't create new. It's just regurgitating the same stuff that's on there. It's been trained on the internet. If you've been on the internet in 2026, that's a bit scary. It gets wrapped up in legal fights. Last week or the week before, 6 of the biggest publishers in the US have taken Meta to court. That's a bit scary when it starts uttering phrases like copyright infringement. Or it shits the bed somehow. I don't know. There's plenty of things in here. I'm being a negative Nelly because I can be. Because I'm a bit of a pragmatist, and we heard that word an awful lot a minute ago. Because for the past 30-odd years, I've heard technology is going to solve the climate crisis. That's going really well on the driest May and the hottest May we've had so far. So I'm a bit of a negative Nelly about it because it screams, trust me, bro. No. Because I'm a bit scared about it. Because we're ignoring people in a big way. And we're always going to be around. There's 9.1 billion or however many there are. By 2100, there's going to be 6 billion. The joy of population. But we're always going to be around. Tried, tested, occasionally temperamental, hello, and tenacious, dog chasing cars. And yeah, it's putting blinders on people. L&D budgets are getting slashed. Juniors aren't getting hired. The LLM council were talking about that earlier. Frameworks aren't getting developed for people because AI might disrupt stuff. Might. Leaders aren't handling communication poorly. Anyone a recruiter? Who's ever been found well by a recruiter's email? Sucks, doesn't it? And new ideas don't happen with AI. It's just the same stuff that's already happened. I know that winds people up. It's a great rubber duck. I don't see anything new because it's your ideas that it's coming from. Case in point, me being pissed off about my framework that I've been developing for a while. Whinge over. Oh, it's not a Nik Walker presentation without a weird meme either. So I apologize. What should you be doing as a leader then? Yes, Nick, you said you were going to talk about this and you've whinged at us for the last while. I'm aware. The same thing you've been doing and we've been excelling at for a long time, but you have to plan better. Target operating models. Start making them about people. How are you training people? How are you tying that training into people? We said about the frameworks that are actually in there. Making sure people are getting the experience. There was one person, I'm sorry, I'm useless with names, who said about getting the best software engineers aren't the best coders, the ones who can solve the best problems. Getting the experience to do that. The stereotype of the engineer, keeping them in the deep, dark room, probably should with me sometimes, keeping them in the deep, dark room died the second we realized, actually, we need to put these nerds in front of business people and say, what problem are you solving? And we waffle to death about that so we can promote internally. Career frameworks. Yes, it's all well and good as sitting there going, oh, in 5 years, senior engineer might be different. Yeah, cool. The oceans could take over the world at that point, or the dolphins could. Acting with an uncertain future is not the way to lead. We have to give people at least some experience of this. Tie into those frameworks, AI, and automating that boring stuff if you really have to. Tailor towards what people want to achieve, and as managers and leaders, that's important. Not everyone wants to be senior management. Some people want to be an independent contributor. Remember that big slap fight we had? AI does work and it does automate the boring stuff. But they're the tradies and we're the management. If we sit there doing the whole, how much of your job are you what percentage of your job can be automated by AI? They're not going to tell you a genuine thing. Anyone ever stood over the back of a tradie fixing the pipes in their house before? Because I guarantee it doesn't go well if you start telling them to do stuff. So don't do it with your staff, genuinely. Promoting internally, junior staff, that recruitment cycle has to happen. It's up to us to argue, fight, and fall out with HR, bean counters, accountants, whoever the hell it is who sits there and goes, because of AI, we're going to get rid of 20% of your budget. It is up to us as leaders to disagree, to argue, and cause that tension that allows us to do that. Oh, by the way, the kids who come out of uni run rings around most people with code these days. Even if it's a bit sloppy, that's what they're juniors for, to get upskilled. And someone awesome said something about using LLMs for training. Awesome. Gen AI, get that in my face. I'm happy with that. Or using them to have like test scenarios for an SRE. That's a great idea. Hadn't even thought of that myself. And I'm brilliant, apparently. Communicating with people, I made the snarky remark about this, but no bullshit. I don't BS. I think it's probably why people occasionally like talking to me. But if you're using AI to neutralize your emails, if you're using it to talk to people on Teams, or the really irritating thing on like WhatsApp where it tells you, were you trying to say this? No, I definitely wasn't trying to spell everything in American. Don't do it. Talk yourself. You're important. You're kick-ass. All of you are awesome. Like, I want you to be able to talk to your people. I want your people to feel safe to be able to know that it's you they're talking to. And this is always a really fun one because sometimes it comes with a lot of privilege and various soft skills that are really tough. But when you hear nonsense, unfair structures around salary, benefits, the way people work, the way people are treated, treat it genuinely and help us challenge those things. As a neurodivergent guy, that's really important. Whilst I was talking to another ADHD person, they said they've got an AI-related bonus, which I thought was really weird. I just wanted to share it. If they save the business 2 FTE at 25 grand each, 35 grand each, whatever, they can get a bonus of up to 150,000. The maths doesn't quite work out there, and it doesn't quite feel fair. But those are the kind of silly things that are now happening in businesses. You've probably encountered them. Challenge them. Yes. AI is great for neurodivergent people. That got spouted all over LinkedIn last year and the year before. It's the best thing for you. It lets you ask questions. Yeah, a research document came out last week, this weekend just gone. It is 26 times more likely to cause psychosis in people than it is to actually help someone, which is a bit fucking scary for my liking. Nothing like a bit of mental health on Mental Health Awareness Week. Check in with each other. Good management leaders, they save lives. I've worked with a couple of people in here. We've had some kick-ass managers who genuinely are awesome. Or I always look up to them and I always think about them. Humans who support people with neurodivergence, who learn about it, you probably don't know about it, and accept us for who we are. I'm weird and wacky and everyone has to deal with it. Because I'm a bit like that sometimes. Behaving like a servant leader, championing neurodivergent needs, championing mental health needs if you need it, the people's needs, your people's needs. That's what a good manager does. That's what a good leader does. AI where it makes sense. We can't not get away from AI. Ways of working, what works for people, what works for the team. It's all about that. Please don't put that on LinkedIn with a stupid picture. Speaking plainly, I've said about this. Like, don't tell me you're keen to synergize some deliverables. Please don't tell me that. Tell me you want to catch up and you want to talk about roadmaps or anything that's businessy. Like, just don't say weird corporate speak. It doesn't work well. Some of us don't get social cues. I certainly don't sometimes. You may have noticed. All these things about workspaces, taking advantage, these are things that managers can do. These are things that, quite frankly, people are awesome at being empathetic towards. And the really, really cool thing about when people sit there and go, it would be good to help more neurodivergent people, for those of you who are neurotypical, it helps you too, massively so. If you've got engineers and analysts in your team, 60% of them, up to 60% of them, are neurodivergent. 4% in leadership. So there's a little bit of bias going on there somewhere. So that mileage varies, but it's up to you to help people with that. It's a nice, pretty heart. Desperately tried so much to use that. That's from all my bits, human-centric leadership, and the great people make the best leaders and managers. People who are interested in the problem, people who are interested in the people. Honest, empathetic. We all think we're empathetic until we're really pushed and someone says they're having the worst day of their life. I've been there, both on the receiving end and having the worst day of my life. People are thankful. Most of you can walk the talk. You've all suffered the doom of 11 o'clock on a Friday night where you're trying to fix the thing that has broken and the CTO is very mad at you. Make sure your people don't have that anymore. You know how to walk the talk. We're always learning. We're always caring. We see opportunities both in the business, leaders, and we see it in people. There's nothing worse when someone comes with a prejudgment about someone in the business and they're like, oh, they're really hard work, they're spiky, they're issue. Fuck off. Have you actually asked them what the opportunity, what they want to do, what they're good at? Because I guarantee people haven't. I've got one on there, seeking feedback. All the stuff I said about helping people, have you dared to ask any of your people if they're getting the best version of you? Has anybody asked? Did you do the 360? Good stuff. Love it. I want everyone to be able to sit there comfortably, because sometimes you'll sit there and go, shit, if I asked them, what would they say? Dread to think what my team would say. But like, being able to sit there and kind of go, if you're feeling like that, why do you feel like that? Are you worried about you've said something? Are you doing stuff that's wrong? Are you helping your people to the best possible way? Being calm. I may not seem calm. I am Captain Chill as a cucumber. I wish everyone was as well. But what if AI can do all that? What if it can be a loving, caring, compassionate, brilliant human being? Well, my future career as a counselling psychologist is going to be extremely short. That is my big worry, and that is genuinely my face when I think about it. By the way, I'm not actually that much of a Luddite. I want this crazy Star Trek world of AI taking over and all of us working a 2-day week. I want my biggest concern in life to be, what cigar do I smoke on a Wednesday morning as I walk through the woods with my dog? That's it. Genuinely, I think that should be everyone's biggest worry. So to us, even if it's 5 years down the line, we said about, we can't plan everything. We can't. We have to be pragmatic and realistic about what's actually going on and build those frameworks out for people, build the future for people, be able to communicate that. AI is costly and it's only going to get more expensive. I dare you to try and get an actual AI company through your governance risk assessment stuff for your business. They get a big old pass because it's AI at the moment. It wouldn't go through most. AI is inaccurate, but it is getting better. But you only really get that one opportunity to be really kick-ass. Whereas people will spend time making sure what they're doing is right. I spent an awful lot of time on these slides. Is it right? No, but it's how I feel about things. Still occasionally questionable in quality. It keeps talking Americanized at me, which is very weird. AI can't create new, and the legal risks are terrifying. The tech is cool, and it is here to stay. I am not a Luddite. I'm not going to sit there and say the dot-com bubble was X, Y, and Z. Someone summed it up earlier. It was just too early for what it is. I think tech will be kick-ass. This is great. You two have got like images of stupidity that I'm talking about. The tech is here. The tech is going to stay. It's doing really cool stuff, but I still think people are going to be the most important things. We talk about 5 years. 5 years ago was 2021. That was COVID. It was before Omicron scared the crap out of everyone. All those years ago. The world has changed a little bit. People are still arguing about politics. People are still buying too much. The world's still a bit on fire. Nothing's really changed, and we do sell a lot of things for advertising. Things haven't changed that much, so why do we treat people differently now? Don't. AI can't lead, and AI can't manage. I agree with this, and I would love to have a debate if people can, if it can lead, if it can manage. Those weird TikTok voices that we heard 3 years ago have been replaced by things that now sound very, very people-like, but they still set off that uncanny valley, and no one wants to hear from that when you're having your end of year. You can inspire people, though. You can, I guarantee it. And no one can be managed about it. We're not cogs in a machine. It's the age-old saying, you have nothing to escape by your chains and all that stuff, but you're not a machine. If a machine sits there and tells you you've got 5 minutes to do something, I guarantee you're going to argue with it. It can automate the boring stuff. It could automate slides so badly, but it's never going to, because people are going to ask us more and more things, and I want you to be better leaders of this. Some people will stand here questioning me, going, yeah, we're doing this already. Spend some time this evening over this week and think about some of these things, and are you doing them properly, or are you just getting swished up in all the wonderful propaganda that is AI? You're going to do it? Splendid. You may now applause, you may hoot, heckle, or harangue me as much as you wish to.